All right, so I think it's safe to say the market is very hot right now. We have 3 stocks right now up over 100%. One of them is up 491%, and it's halted up. This is pretty wild. I think I traded like 12 different stocks today, and I had a really nice big green day. Let's get into it. Let's jump onto the screen share. BGLC is right now halted up at $2.53. I traded this one a little bit earlier. It is up 491% on the day. This is wild. You know, the first stock that I traded today was actually OMH, right down here. It's up 123% right now, but I started trading at 7 a.m. Right now it's coming up towards 1:15, so I put in a good solid day of trading. I could trade a little longer, but I don't know that it's really worth it. I actually peaked on my P&L at about $24,000 today. I'm sitting at $18,000 right now. So I've given back about $6,000 off the top. And you know, that for me is a good indicator to say, all right, you've given back 30% off the top. Let's walk away before you give back half. I wish I hadn't given back quite so much, but you know, the thing is, you have to push it. And when it's hot, this is the time to push it. If I took a $6,000 loss when it's cold, I'd be bummed out. But taking it on a day like today, when that could have sent me from 24 to 30 to 35 to $40,000 green on the day, that could have easily happened. Today was the right day to step up to the plate and take some risk. I gave back a little off the top, but hey, $18,000 is still a terrific green day. All right, so the first stock I traded was OMH. I rolled over this morning around, I don't know, like 5:55, and I saw OMH was on the top of the gap scanner, as was ARBB. So this started squeezing up at like 4 in the morning. It squeezed up here at 4:30. It pulled back. It squeezed up again at 5. It was up over 100% by the time I looked at it around 6. And I did look at it and I thought initially, well, it looks like it peaked, you know, up here at about 380 and pulled back a good bit down to VWAP. So I was like, nah, all right, it's interesting, but you know, we'll see. So anyway, sat down in my office about 7 a.m. and we got a bull flag breakout right here at 7 a.m. It ended up going from 390 all the way up to a high of 750. And my first trade on this was an entry at 392, and then I added 1,000 shares at 387, and then 398 and 410. The reason I was buying down there was because I drew this ascending support line right here at 630. It was connected between about 630 and 632. And I thought, look, it looks like this is coming right down to support right here on this level. So that dip right there was where I took my starter. And it ended up squeezing up to a high of 459. It pulls back, then it pushes through to 5. It goes all the way up to here, this red candle. So we have 2, 4, 6 green candles in a row. It pulls back, and then it goes on this breakout right here. First 1 minute candle makes a new high, and it squeezes from $5 all the way up to $7.50. In this move right here, I made 12 grand. I did that at 7:13 in the morning. And you know what? I probably could have just walked away right then and there. But hey, you know, you never know how much more opportunity the day is going to give you, and you've got to step up to the plate sometimes. So I did step up to the plate, but anyways, $12,000 more or less on my first trades on OMH. This was solid. I was very happy with that. But on the very next trade, I lost, and that was on VCIG. I lost 2,000. So today's a day where, because the market was hot, I started getting pretty aggressive. And that's why I traded so many stocks. I was trading everything that was moving, and you know, more or less I was profitable on most things. You know, but I had some losses, and VCIG was the first one I took a good size loss on. So this popped up at about 7:30 here, first to 190, then it pulls back, and then it squeezes up to 250 and higher. So I got in it as it starts to pull away right here, and it breaks 250. It goes to 3 and all the way up to 350. At 366, it actually hit a high of 399. So I got in right here. I took profit up here, and I was up $3,000. I was like, you know, now I'm up 15 grand on the day. I'm like, wow, this is so hot. So what do? I added back. I added right up here and right into here for the squeeze through 4. and it rejected hard. And I ended up losing $5,000 on on this drop right here. Lost $5,000. So I went from up $3,000 to down $2,000 on VCIG, and that was a swing in the P&L. I went from up $15,000 to up, $10,000. It was like 9,900. And when I was up 9,900, I kind of thought to myself, you know what, man? I mean, I know it's early, but be careful. Let's not give it all back. You just gave back 30% of your profit. Let's slow down for a second. Let's see if anything else is going to hold up. So that was kind of a little bit of a tricky start to the day. And then I proceeded to take a trade on ARBB, and I lost 2,500 on that one. So I actually gave back some profit from hitting a high of 15,000. I gave back almost half. I was down at like 7,800, pretty darn close to half. The thing with ARBB was that when OMH started to die off, so I'll go back to OMH. Well, so it's fine. We'll look at OMH for a second. So OMH puts in this really nice move pre-market, but it started die off right about here. This was at was it 9 a.m., something like that? So when it started die off, or maybe it was right here. Let's just take a look at ARBB again. So it starts to die off, and I thought, okay, well, what's our second leading gapper today? And our second leading gapper was ARBB. And so I thought, you know what? This is a little risky, but with OMH pulling back, this was about 7:30. I'm going to take a starter here on ARBB. And I bought 5,000 shares, and I added as it squeezed up. And I was up about 50 cents, almost 50 cents a share, because I got in at about 5. I added, though, that hurt my cost basis, added as it squeezed up to 550. I was looking for the breakthrough VWAP, and then it needed to break through this level here, and then I was looking for a squeeze back to the high. I don't usually take dips under VWAP. However, today was very hot, and so I thought, second leading gapper, it's still up over 100%. This might be the one. Anyways, rejected, and that was my biggest loss of the day. So at that point, I was kind of asking myself, all right, I've now had a couple losses. I need to slow down a little bit. Let's take a little bit of a breath. Next one is BGLC. BGLC, that's the one that just halted. It squeezed through $1 a share, and I bought it pre-market at $1.05. Ends up going up to $1.50. So made 1,000 on it. A little bit later in the morning, I think it was right here, I gave back 500. But, and on that first trade, I made about 1,000. So now I'm back to up 8,500. I'm like, all right, that's good, making some progress. And then PRSO, up 1,700 on that. That one hit the high day Momo scanner, and it actually has squeezed up yesterday as well. I lost on it yesterday, but I jumped in it today fairly early, about 240. It hit the scanner. I jumped in about 230, 240. Yesterday's level was about that same price. So I was like, okay, if it's breaking that level, could be an interesting trade. Ends up squeezing up to 380. Even with small size, I had a nice trade on it. It drops back down. And that was our first round trip of the day. And I thought, all right, let's be careful. Let's focus on what's really obvious. So then I ended up switching gears to DBGI. All right, so DBGI, this was the one that I actually, I made some really great money on this. I was up about 13,000 on this stock. This is when I hit my peak of 24,000 on the day. And then I kind of just over traded and gave it back. So DBGI was up early, and it pops here at about 855, kind of light volume, wasn't interested. But when it came up here, I was like, all right, here we go. We got something to work with. So DBGI, this is where I got aggressive on it. It squeezes through 5. It pops up to 650. Micro pullback, goes up to a high of 9. Dip, strong bounce, up to $10 a share. That was awesome. But as it started to come back down, I was trying to buy dips. I got stopped out once. I did another dip. I got stopped out a second time. So pretty much immediately went from up 24,000 to up 22,000. Basically, that was instant. I was up 24,000 for maybe like 3 minutes. So gave back 2,000 here. In this area, I wasn't able to get in the zone on it. I kept having small losses, bigger spreads, getting stopped out. And even though it squeezed up a little bit later in the morning, I just wasn't able to get comfortable with it. So in total, I'm up 7,600 on it. That's a green, trade for sure, but it was kind of lame. I wasn't able to get back to my highs, even though the stock ended up making new highs. I just wasn't able to get super dialed in on it. Then we had BMR. BMR is another one that I traded quite a lot. I made about $35, almost $4,000 on it. Gave back most of it. I'm up 1,500. The thing with this was that it had this first squeeze, which I didn't trade. Then it pulls back. I tried to take a trade through the high. I think I went red on the first trade. Then we get this nice breakout, nice profit there, nice trade here, and then rejection and a big rejection up here. And I just overtraded it. And with the big spreads, it was very easy to give back profit. So that was MR, or what was it? Yeah, BMR, sorry, BMR. HOLO, made 800 on it. This is kind of pathetic. This one I traded a little bit later in the morning as it squeezed up here. And I didn't make a lot of money on it because at this point in the day, I was like, I already felt like I'd given back too much. So I was only trading it with small size. And I traded it earlier and I lost $2,000 on it. So I don't remember now where I first traded it. I'll have to scroll here. I took so many trades today. DBGI trades, BMR. I first traded it at like 1875. Yeah, so that was like right in this area, and I lost on it on my first trade. I took a solid loss. Took 4,000 shares. It drops like 50 cents a share. Lost $2,000. Then I traded it as it started to pull away here. Made back the $2,000 I lost, but it just wasn't enough to make up for. I didn't get nicely green on it. But we looked at ARBB, we looked at VCIG, and then HKIT and ZJYL. ZJYL was a trade I took earlier this morning. It started to squeeze right here, and I bought this breakout, but I lost on it. I added too high, and it dumped. So Chinese stock, it was risky. It is what it is. And then HKIT started squeezing up about the same time as HOLO. But I lost on it once and then I lost on it a second time. I just could not get in the zone on it. So it was kind of annoying. Anyways, so I think I hit the high of 24,000 today. And then I actually drew down all the way to about 16,000, bounced back up to 21, back down to 18, back up to 19, back down to 18,220. So, my P&L today, if I drew it out on the whiteboard, it's kind of like I basically made $12,000 right away, and then I gave back about half of it, and then slowly rallied back up, had that DBGI trade, which put me up 24,000, immediately gave back 2, gave back more, got back to here, back down to here, back up to here, back down to about here, more, something like that, and then finishing kind of like right here. So there's a lot of up and down. I mean, if you added up all of these losses, I lost more in one day today than I've lost, in any single day in probably a year. But I also made more in one day on all the winners. So, if you added up all my winners, you've got probably $30,000 in winners. And then you add the losers, you've got 15,000 in losers or whatever. And that's why I'm up 18,000 on the day. So it was a pretty big swing for me. I saw some other people experiencing similar. One of our members who's got his $1 million badge, he was up about $110,000 today, but finished it, I think, 85,000. Gave back a little profit off the top. Danny, who's had a great day yesterday. I think it was his personal record, best day ever. Today said he was getting kind of chopped up. I think he missed the early pre-market action, and then during regular hours, it's just been difficult. I see a lot of people trading BGLC. It's got 50 million shares of volume, but I sort of feel like attention is a little dispersed right now. You've just got so many stocks that have been moving, and traders very quickly are abandoning one stock and then switching to the next one. They're just like, oh, that one's dead. I'm going to the next one. So if you're in too high and it starts rolling over, some of them just don't recover because traders move on to focus on something new and more exciting. So that's definitely a little tricky. Serious volatility today. I wish I'd been able to finish the day over 20,000. I wish I'd been able to finish in a little bit of better shape. Also, my fees and commissions are going to be really high today. Certainly at least 15% of my profit. So it's probably, I mean, well, maybe not, but it's probably at least $1,800. It wouldn't surprise me at all because I traded a lot. I was very active. So this all generates a lot of fees and commissions. So, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Again, I tried to step up to the plate. It was the right move, but I had a couple of trades that I took, you know, like right at the highs, looking for that squeeze through. And then it just dropped and I got stopped out hard. So I had a couple of hard stops that were pretty nasty, and, you know, a couple trades where, you know, I'm punching it and all of a sudden I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in this way too high. You know, HOLO, a 4,000 share trade on that at high a day. And, you know, all of a sudden it's like this thing could drop 3 points and I'm going to lose 12 grand in an instant. So I think a lot of us were trading pretty aggressively today. That's definitely the right move, but also have to be able to rein it in and kind of know when to walk away. I probably should have walked away a little sooner. I found myself getting frustrated. You know, I just had sort of a string in the middle of my day, you know, where I just was like, had like 10 small losses in a row. And I was like, my God, like, what is happening? I am just not dialed in, you know, and then I made back a little bit, but I probably should have walked away a little sooner today. Anyways, you know, at the same time, I walked away probably too soon yesterday. You know, yesterday we had that big move on BMR, and I had that meeting at 11 a.m. And so I missed that whole squeeze from, you know, 16 all the way up to $30 a share. And I think today I was like, I don't want to miss one of those. So I stayed. But aside from sort of getting a move like that on HOLO, we didn't really, and HOLO was not super easy to trade. But look at this top gainer scanner right here. This is showing you what's hot in the market today. We've got a lot of volume. We've got some really high floats. Really low floats. This is a great combination, great action. It's not impossible to lose money when we have this action because things are volatile. But for those of you who have been training for a while, who've been practicing, hopefully you found your way to some profit today. And, you know, we'll try to do it again tomorrow. So I'll be back at it tomorrow. We're in a real hot cycle here that started on HOLO. And so that's good. The overall market, CPI numbers came in a little above expectations at 8:30 a.m. this morning. So overall market is pulling back, you know, selling off, gapping down. I don't know if that's going to really matter, but, you know, hey, today was still a great day for me, even though the market's down, but we'll see. We'll see what the market looks like over the coming weeks. I think the only thing there is that it just means, you know, we're not going to get an interest rate cut until, you know, the CPI number is a little bit lower. So that's something that, you know, the market is aware of. But I think for small caps, we still have some, you know, some good opportunities. So anyways, HOLO, this was wild, all the way up to $41 a share. I mean, I took a couple trades on it in that area, but only with 250 shares. I wasn't in a place on the day to hit it with two or 3,000. I knew that if it went wrong, it would kind of kill my day, and it wasn't worth it. So anyways, I hope you guys had a good day. And as always, you know, I remind you to manage your risk, trade cautiously. My results aren't typical, but we're in a market where we're getting some opportunities. So study the movers from today, from yesterday, from last week, and show up, you know, try to capitalize on it. Okay, so that's it for me, and I'll see you guys back here. I'll be streaming first thing tomorrow morning for members at Warrior Trading, and I'll upload my recap tomorrow afternoon. All right, see you guys later.